Welcome to Beyond Headlines with Ngullie. Olop din agide Peren dera moikan sop ini ekdam asorit khisa ekta majo paise. Ena laga khisa kando deshpura de hoi thagi duan do hoilebi Nagaland de do ena hobo koi na kun laga bhavna de bi aya nai. Itya karni dom. Peren de ekta vidyalay laga chaugidar bra itu vidyalay la bachagan ge vigyan shikai thagi paise koi ase. Aru itu uporde itu laga vidyalay la kat mistri bra itu bachagan ge omkho shikai tagya paise ko ase. Aru chaugidar bra vigyan shikai thagishe. Kat mistri bra omkho shikai thagishe itu la vidyalay te. Ini bhabile to ekdam asorit kotha. To jani paise itu laga vidyalay te vigyan laga shikak nai goise, omkho laga shikak bi nai goise. Itu karni kundu vidyalay itu karni kundu vidyalay itu chaugidar aro kat mistri bra bachagan ge itu shikai thaishi itu do manubra Nagaland de no bolai itu kunba kinare hobo bolai na bi koi ase olebi itu do Peren district te ase Nsong bosti koina tate paise ko ase jadin kali portion hi itu la khisa do samachar de ulaise itu HornbillTV moikhan rabi tu la kotha to koi thaisna ya ge de ki jane kitia lamba bra itu laga vidyalay te ena kam jai thaise tai khan shikak na thai ene itu kat mistri khan bra aro chokidar khan bra itu bacha khan ge shikai thaise kiman lamba jai thaise itu to moikhan no na jane le kali pushini ulaise tu la samachar de to moikhan la puria likhya huru khan bra patragar khan itu tai khan osor de ahine itu la khisa koi dia bishide moikhan jane ase to Peren laga jawan khan bra kwa hisab Nsong bosti laga sorkari laga vidyalay karni ki mudut kuribo kina guina tai khan mudut aniwo itu tai khan sorkari kan logo debi bishi loi jaise ena ko asole itia takbi ku kotha nai Nagaland ini enai ase Nsong laga vidyalay to tai khan koi thaise noita bosti nishna tai khan itu vidyalay bra sai ase na koi ase is one of the most bizarre stories to have emerged from this side of the country, and especially one that you normally wouldn't expect to emerge from Nagaland. This case was reported during the second week of August, around the 12th. The janitor and the carpenter of Nsong Government High School in Peren district were allegedly found to be teaching two critical subjects. There apparently are no science and mathematics teachers in that school. Even worse, Nsong Government High School has no headmaster or an assistant headmaster. I believe it was students who first brought this news to the media now. By what we know so far, the janitor of the school was found to have been teaching science. And the carpenter, on the other hand, was found to be teaching mathematics to the students in the school. According to students who spoke to the media, various representations had been placed before the government of Nagaland authorities previously too. They are said to have approached even the local representative, elected representative. However, Nsong Government High School continues to wait for something a little more measurable from either the state government or the education authorities. Now, the group of youth and students who spoke to the media say this particular school covers approximately 9 villages in the area. The population of the area is said to be somewhere in the region of 5,000 minimum to 10,000 maximum people there. Now, perhaps to illustrate the kind of life outside the urban districts of Dimapur and Kohima, the students remarked that they traveled approximately 150 kilometers just for the press conference to talk to the media. They came all the way from Peren district to Dimapur to highlight their problems. Itu laga kisa ula piche kunba manu do gussa kunba do asorit lagise aro kunba manu do hasai dia kunba kwa saza dibi kunba do chaugidar aro kat mistri ge puruskar bi di dibi chaugidar aro kat mistri bra vigyan aro omkho shiga bole paria do mamuli no hai na bi koishi tu social media de to itu karni puruskar di dibi tai khan ge na koi thaise ki hoile bi itu do Nagaland sarkari la galti ase moikhan la rajya te itu point la bra bi shikak na thagya la kotha hi koina aia se aji tak ekdom shikak na thakia lai kot ko jaga lebi itula shikak nai utula shikak nai poila brabi moi khan huru thakia homoi debi omkhola shikak aro vigyan la shikak to ekdom paule ekdom tan thaise और दूसरा विषय का निशना अंग्रेजी निशना हिंदी निशना राजनीतिक विषय का निशना इतुवन लगा तो इन्हें शिका खान तो नहीं पाई था कि होले भी ओमखो आरो विज्ञान करनी शिका तो पावले एकदम तानपुर लावरा भी इतु निशना नागालैंड सरकारी ला विद्यालय विषय भाग तो इतु द्विता ओमखो आरो विज्ञान लगा शिका ना था क्या करनी पूरे लिखा रास्ता बिया कुरी दिया से रास्ता खान भी ना बिया करी ना आया से मैं खान ला पुरिया लिखा हुरु खान तो Nsong देखी होई शेयदु शिकाक ना था गया करनी चौकीदार और काट मिस्त्री बरा बच्चा खान के शिकाय था गया तो इन्हीं उपाय ना था गया लगा ही होई ख्वा निशना ही ऐसे बाबी सैले उपाय ना था गया ही होई शेयदु तो कोथा तो इतु चौकीदार और काट मिस्त्री के किमान होमोई बरा शिकाक ना था गया होमोई दे ताइखान ब्रा बच्चा खान शिकाई ना आइशे इतु तो मैं खान तो ना जाने ओले भी मैं बाप ना ऐसे ताइखान ब्रा इन्हीं साई ना आइशे कोई ले की शिकायत है ले भी नहीं तंखा तो ताइखान की दी दिवी कोई इतु काट मिस्त्री आरो चौकीदार के नहीं तंखा तो ताइखान नहीं दिवी कोई दूसरा ना थे ले क्यों पाए से तो चौकीदार हो भी काट मिस्त्री हो भी ताइखान लान काम न होय होले भी ताइखान ब्रा कोरी दिशे तंखा तो ताइखान नहीं दिवी नहीं भावे ऐसे मुझे दो The feedback from social media to the report about the Nsong Government High School case was interesting. Needless to say there were people who were as much amused as they were shocked. But there also were people who were angered by the continued degeneration in Nagaland's educational support system and our infrastructure. And of course, there were actually a lot of people who expressed support to the helpful janitor and the talented carpenter in this regard. Some even pitched the idea that they perhaps, if qualified to teach science and mathematics, they should be paid likewise in the salary of someone in the position of a teacher. And they should be paid for it, given it was, or whatever the case, that the Naga people traditionally have never been proficient in math or the sciences is bad enough already. But as if it were not enough, finding mathematics and science teachers for Nagaland have been a horrible difficulty historically. And historically, it's been an enormous challenge in almost every educational institution in the state, especially the government schools. And what's happening in Nsong village in Peren district seems to be just another reflection of Nagaland's plodding, dragging, crawling journey in their pursuit of academic excellence. मैं भी स्कूल दे था या मैं ओमखो आरो हिंदी दे तो एकदम अंदाज़ नहीं पाई ना इसे मैं लगा साथी खान भी ना भी बिशी था इसे ओमखो आरो हिंदी खान दो होए क्वानिशना ना मानो तो बिशी भाग ओमखो दे बिया से विज्ञान ला विषय खान दे भी नहीं बिया था ये बिशी भाग तो ये तो ऊपर दे शिक्षक भी ना पाए तो मैं खान भी की कोई वो ना जाने होई से तो मैं खान ओलोप ओमखो सावोका अकबर एक ता हिसाब दे आमी खान लगा राज्य दे 2700 निशना विद्यालय आसे एना को आसे इतो अकबर ब्रा को तो इतो माजा दे सरकारी लगा विद्यालय ही बिशी आसे ताइखान 1900 निशना इत्या तक तो सरकारी ब्रा इनी इतो आसे कोई ना इमान आसे कोई ना इमान विद्यालय आसे कोई ना राज्य सब से इतो करनी इतो कंदो कोई गिना नहीं और कागज भी नहीं तो मैं खान भाषे ना जाने होले भी मैं खान जगह जगह ते किमान ओमखो लगा शिकाक आरो विज्ञान शिकाक लागिया से इतु हिसाब सही ना नागालैंड पूरा दे किमान लागिया से इतु इन्हें लोग सही सब इतु कान ब्रो लोग दिखी उले पारी उले कोथा लॉन्गलैंड दे दो सरकारी ला विद्यालय सब मिलाई गिना और फंडर निशना आसे फंडर 15 in Nagamis फंडर निशना आसे आरो इतु विद्यालय खान बरा लागिया से इगोइश ओमखो शिकाक इगोइश निशना ओमखो शिकाक लगिया से इगोइश 21 तो they need about 21 mathematics teachers aro sotar nishna vigyan laga shikak lagya se 17 science teachers sotar vigyan laga shikak lagya se aro 10 angrezi laga shikak English teachers lagi ase aro 11 aro 11 Hindi laga shikak lagi ase Longland de Longland laga sarkari school khan ge aro ekta akbar hisab to 300 upor nishna vidyalay de umkho shikak laga umkho shika laga shikak lagi ase ko ase aro 100 upor nishna vidyalay de do vigyan shika laga shikak lagi ase ko ase moi laga bhavna de do itu 400 nishna umkho aro vigyan shikak na thagya laga vidyalay de Nsong bosti bi thagibona gi taibi itu de gushigina thagibona gi na bhabi ase. There are no hard and fast data about the personnel and workforce gaps in Nagaland school education system. There is a smattering of numbers here and there with the media, but like I say, just smatterings, and they are woefully insufficient. I've always said this. Nagaland is a data and statistics nightmare. One of the reasons why Nagaland is an exceedingly underdeveloped state, although we have never had to rely on our sources, thanks to Delhi. Data and statistics are like maps in development. Without data, we will have no clarity when charting the development map. It's like knowing where you want to go, but you have absolutely no idea where the road that leads to that place is. Anyhow, we have no hard and fast data, but we just might have a small idea about the gaps in the mathematics and science teaching workforce in the state of Nagaland. Now we're going to use Longland district for example. Among its 15 government high schools, Longland district requires about 21 math teachers, 17 science teachers, 10 English teachers, and 11 Hindi teachers. The current staffing structure and amount is absolutely insufficient in meeting the needs of the schools in Longland district. Now, if Longland with 15 government schools can have that many lack, imagine Mauchon or Peren district. And oh, by the way, what I know about Mauchon district, it has about 40 government schools of various levels, primarily they are higher secondary and high school levels. But wait, Peren district has 132 government schools. Anyway, according to the Department of School Education, out of 894 government middle, high and higher secondary schools in Nagaland, there are approximately 353 schools that lack a graduate mathematics teacher. Likewise, there are 161 schools that lack a graduate science teacher. Now, these figures suggest a minimum requirement of at least 514, that is 353 plus 161 additional subject teachers for mathematics and science alone. Now, this is assuming one per school and that all schools currently lack such teachers. Interestingly, in November 2021, the Nagaland Chief Minister Nefirio himself reportedly noted that while there were about 188 vacancies, that is 112 in science and 76 in mathematics, but then again, interestingly, the Education Department of Nagaland also reported a surplus of about 10,000 teachers overall. How in the world there can be a surplus when there is a shortage everywhere? How can be a shortage and then a surplus? So I don't know how this shortage and the surplus story is going. One government leader is saying something, another is saying quite another. If this is true, then it's all about misallocation or incompetence of the allocating officials, the guys who are responsible for assigning the teachers. It might also be because of bias in distribution rather than absolute shortage of teachers. Now, this is the strange part. According to the Samagra Shiksha Annual Report 2023-24, government schools in Nagaland have a ratio of 747 students per teacher, while the ratio in private schools is 19 to 41 students per teacher. So I have absolutely no idea what's going on in here. Hoilibi aji karne do olob ala kotha ekta hi kuri moi khan na wa kile chawgidar bra ekta vidyalay de vigyan shikai ta je kile mystery bra omkho shikai ta je bacha khan idula kotha do na kawa ji do moi khan do naga manu sarkari aro naga manu la rajniti aro naga manu la bikak khotom ekdom khotami noy moi khan do itu upor de ami khan la rasta ami khan la vidyalay la kotha shikak la kotha koile do ekdom doha ro bujible lamba rasta lagi wo ekdam lagi bo itu karone ajido moi khan do sai sabo Nagaland rajya de aro desh te dusra alag asorit aro ulta pulta kami sai jabo itu moi khan bishi doha de na jao oli itu parent ki hwa se itu nishna dusra jaga de bi ki hoina se itu kan ekbar sai jabo parent la Nsong bosti de hwa nishna vidyalay phitor de ki kamulta korina ise rajya pura de Nagaland pura de itu kan sob olop sai jabo. Topics of mismanagement and corruption are often complicated and deeply nuanced, especially in states like Nagaland. What happened in Peren district's Nsong village demands a discussion that is more inclusive of the many and various factors that contribute to either corruption or mismanagement. Let's hope that our government and the school education department would, well, actually do something this time, or maybe not. Our educational system has been suffering for decades, if you ask me, and I'm not convinced at all that no matter how severe Nsong village's problem is, it still might not be exceptional enough for our government to notice, because the range of problems across Nagaland's government school is extraordinarily numerous, ladies and gentlemen. So, well, we can only hope for the best that Nsong's village school will get their mathematics and science teachers at least. Let's have a look at some of the most barefaced corruption and mismanagement cases in the education sector reported from Nagaland in the recent times. 1. 2006, an investigation uncovered more than 850 illegal appointments for grade 3 and 4 positions in Nagaland district. 2006. Out of 1,286 appointment orders, only 437 were found genuine. The previous director, one is Ringma, allegedly accepted bribes to approve around 500 bogus teachers' bribery. He was subsequently prosecuted and jailed. Additionally, the department was involved in fraudulent pension and medical reimbursement schemes worth approximately 200 crore. Longland de saal 2006 de lukai gena 800 opor nishna manu grade 3 or grade 4 kam de gusai dise ko asa edu da apni kan ini internet e jaina puri lobol pare ko hisab 1200 opor milai gena kam dia de 400 nishna hi thik thak kam ra gusai dia kani paise ko asa Pachagando pura hat tera bera niche debra gusai diagan lukai gina. Proxy teachers and absenteeism. The issue of proxy teachers has been Nagaland's favorite problem. In March 2023, 5 government teachers were terminated for engaging proxies in remote schools. The penalties were that the government levied, I think, about 7.6 lakh. Another was about 3.8 lakh, and another person, I think, he or she was fined about 80,000 rupees to recover salaries paid to the proxy teachers. In August 2022, the director issued show cause notices to teachers of government high school in Sanis in Wokha district, allegedly for using proxies. Now, this was resulting in real academic results in 2022 high school examinations. That's what the newspapers reported during the time. Early in August 2022, a disciplinary action was recommended for teachers found absent or using substitutes at government high school Sakshi in Longland too. Nagaland Rajya de Shikak Bishira Nakli Budli Rakhi gina ahya ase aru itu Nakli Budli kan Rakhi gina Sorkari bra chini pabi aro chini pai gina saza dia bi moi khan huni pai che 2023 de Sorkari Shikak panchta nishna ki Sorkari bra kam pra ulai tai khan Budli rakhya kan Sorkari bra itu ulai dishe itu upor de tai khan ke saza terawle dishe tanda terawle dishe tai khan la hat bra Sorkari bra milai na 10 lakh upor nishna tangka do loi lobole manu nakli budli rakhya karni tukan la shikak la hat bra tangka do loi lobole 10,000 upor nishna nakli shikak khan lo tai khan la tangka do loi she ena koyasa. Midday meal, uniform and infrastructure related negligence related scams. 2018. The Naga Students Federation reported widespread failures across government schools in Nagaland midday meal scheme. Many schools apparently did not receive meals or were supplied only with dal. Funds were mismanaged or diverted. That's what the NSF had alleged. A uniform distribution. Uniforms were either inadequate or they were poor in quality, unreachable in size, or provided without stitching costs. Again, infrastructure issues. Schools, according to the NSF, like basic repairs and renovations, and often have to rely on community or parents' contributions for maintenance. There was also what the NSF alleged was a lack of oversight in the government, especially in the education sector. No inspections, no oversight by education officials, so which, according to the NSF, led to unchecked negligence and other malpractices. NSF Koanishna Taikan or government la Sorkari la Vidyalay te Bhat Khan Din de Bhat Tia Khan Itugan so Khawle Bia Noelebi Base no Poncha Enabi Kotha Labi Ulaishe Ekbar de do Aru Taikan la Kapra Vidyalay la Kapra Khan be Kunmado no Ponche Kunmado inish Shida Base Nishilaina Ulta Pulta Aru Kunmado no Ponchina Kapra be ena pa ena Kothabi Ulaishe Aru Taikan Kuishe Itugan Kinar Khan la Vidyalay Khan de Taikan la Ki Lagia se ki Mudut Lagia se ki no Ponche Itugan do Kunbi Sorkari Finibra Sabule Nai Enala Kothabi Ulaisha. The Nagaland governor ordering inquiry into various alleged scams in the education department in 2016 was one of the most widely publicized news in Nagaland during the time. In March 2016, the governor directed a thorough investigation into the education department of allegations of irregularities in the midday meal scheme and Hindi teacher salary and anomalies in their salary, teacher appointment controversies in Peren district, and also investigation into proxy teacher usages, and also the misuse of the SSA funds, non-payment related to contracted construction leading to locked school buildings. 2016 ne itula Homoi Nagaland la Rajyapal PB Acharya Bra Education Department de hokomekta dishe itu din de Vidyalay khan bacha khan bhat khala midday meal koina itula tade bazi no ponchainole biya olauli posikunba de itu de dia nai gune nala kotha bi ulaise itu ge bisraule aro Hindi shikak la taikhan la tangkha kotha bi no ponchainole na pai gune itula bi tai bisrabi goina hokum de she sarkari ge aro Peren district de bi shikak khan kam de ini ulta finibra gusala enala kotha ro SSS la poisa chur goria la itun la kotha de tai sob bisrabi goina hokom ekta di she itu kan moi khan na jane itu ki hoise aro itu sarkari bra hudai itu moi khan la Rajyapal bra itu kan bisrabi kwado sarkari bra bishaishna bishana itu to na jane aro tai do acharya do ita do na thagya hoi jaise itula investigation do ko jaise itu do na jane moi khan. This is not related to the schools, but definitely is in the education sector and under the Department of Higher Education. The state government attempted to regularize about 147 contractual assistant professors and librarians, many allegedly without any T or PhD qualifications, and some were allegedly appointed after a 2016 ban on contractual hires. Itu moikan de itu do kalipushin bi tukan moikan samachar de akbar be so phuni taise 147 nishna tade shikak education la department da shida rasta nohigina itu kagos pura bi na thagina tai khan sarkari bra gusai dela kotha laise aro moikan la komolia khan bi it one sob it one fight kori taise. Corruption at Nagaland University 2025. This is perhaps the latest case of corruption from Nagaland, the Central Bureau of Investigation. The charge is allegedly for demanding 2 lakh rupees bribe from a vendor for already delivered supplies, forcing bribes from another vendor for avoiding contracts worth about 23 lakhs, and also for the charge of favoring specific bidders in tenders causing wrongful loss to the university. Thank you for watching HornbillTV. I'm Ngullie. See you next time.